I'm Simon with Simon Says 314, and today I'm joined by a special guest, Marilyn.
Hi.
Hey. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am like a penguin.
Probably.
Okay, so short story. One time in my life, I decided that because when you talk to people and you say hi, how are you, and they say good. How are you, and you say good. And so one day I had this idea that whenever someone said hi, how are you, or how are you, I should just say the first animal that comes to mind, like I'm like a penguin, and then I should try somehow and relate that to how I'm actually doing. That's the part that didn't just work out. I got the penguin part down. Need to practice the second part. Okay. Anyway. Tell us a short fictional story.
Alright, so the other day I traveled to Indonesia because I was going there as an ambassador on behalf of the United States, And I went to meet with the ambassador for Indonesia, but instead of meeting with him, he sent his cat. But it was really weird because the way I was talking to him is he, taped his phone to his cat's face and was, FaceTiming me through the phone on the cat's face. So I was, negotiating with this guy through a cat, FaceTiming, and I was like, why would you even do this? I came to talk about the important, prospects about bringing Facebook to your country, and you're just going to go ahead and totally dismiss me by sending me your cat instead. And I was really offended, and so I stole some of their falafels and I left.
Okay, I said fictional story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fictional.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually supposed to be funny. Okay. So Marilyn, Marilyn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm 20 years old, and I currently have 2 housemates. One of them is my mother, and then one of them is a guy my age, and it's very fun. I am not in high school. I graduated, but I'm not going to college right now. I have a job at a horse stable, so I really like riding horses, and I also play volleyball. I love to act and make videos and sketches and I just like creating things with other people. It's really fun.
That's cool. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just my name, Marilyn Beck.
Okay. We'll put a link to it downstairs. I mean...
You can see Hannah in some of the videos.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We'll put a link to it in the description. What all is on your YouTube channel?
There's a couple of really random things. I think there's a music video on there about aliens.
Aliens.
It's good. It's good. It's horrible, but it's good. And then there are a couple of random sketches in there, and also some trailers for movies that were never made. It's just it's a whole blend of awesomeness.
And your short film.
Oh yes, there's also a short film, like something I legitimately worked kind of hard on there.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of my actor friends were in it.
That's cool. We should all go check that out.
It's called Blind Date.
Blind Date?
Or, excuse me, Double Date. It's called Double Date.
Double Date, but
yeah.
Not blind.
No.
Okay.
Love. Oh, buttons.
So, what's something that's important to you?
Just one thing that's important to me?
Well, I'm actually just going to give you, an allotment of time to talk about whatever is important to you.
Okay. One of the things that is important to me is my relationship with God. So that is something that I strive to make better every single day. So I'll try to spend time praying. I'll try to spend time in my Bible and devotion. And I also try to befriend other people who have the same religious views as I do, so I can grow my relationship with God through discussion with them as well.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
Do I have a favorite one? I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one I have to use a lot, which is be patient, bearing with one another in love. Ephesians 4 verse 2. Because sometimes I have a hard time doing that.
Well, you won't have to use that during this interview.
Fantastic.
Just kidding. Okay.
Great.
Okay, what else?
What else is important to me?
Yeah.
Acting is very important to me. Like the craft of it all, and trying to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm staying true to the character and to the emotions of it all. It's something that I work really hard on, but it's most important to me because it's kind of looked down on from other people. So it's something that I have to kind of get over this hump of how they're already viewing it and change their perspective on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell us more about your acting.
Okay. Well, I started out acting in theater, which is really fun, but if you've ever seen a play, most of the times they're really overly dramatic because they have to play to the back row, so everything's kind of way overdone and it's not really real. And so I have started training for acting for film and television, where the way I look at it is it's real emotion in fictional circumstances. And because you have a camera so close to you, you can't really be fake because people will notice it immediately. And so one of the things, that's why I like film and television acting, because it's so real and it's so true. Like, if what you're saying you don't honestly believe, no one else will believe it either. And one of the reasons I like it is because it gives you an opportunity to put yourself in someone else's shoes and see life from a different perspective. And you wouldn't normally get to do that just in everyday type of situations. But because of acting, like, it's made me grow as a person, but it's also helped me empathize with a lot of other people because I spent so much time trying to put myself in someone else's shoes. So that's why I like acting.
Where are you planning on taking your acting?
Where am I planning on taking it?
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm taking classes about an hour away from where I live, and it's actually a very prestigious studio. A lot of famous people have gone there. So my plan is to keep taking classes there and start auditioning for any acting type of projects here in my local area. And then I want to build up my resume here. Once I do, then I'm going to go out to LA and try to, book more stuff out there. Basically, that's my plan. I don't really want to become famous or anything like that. I just want to get to the point where I can support myself fully on acting jobs.
I got you. Would you be mad if you got famous?
Would I be mad? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell because our idea of fame is usually not accurate to what it's actually like. I think it would be nice to reach a point where if I'm just walking in a public place, someone recognizes me and says something like, "Hey, weren't you in blank?" And I could be like, "Yes, I was." Recognition would be fun. I don't know if I would necessarily enjoy being so famous that I can't physically do anything because my privacy is no longer existent. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll just kind of take wherever the road takes me, though. I'm not going to intentionally sabotage myself to not be famous. Horrible.
Okay, you said something earlier that I think is really important. You said that your acting and theater has made you more empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of a specific example of that?
Yes, I can actually. So, a little while back, back, I had to do a scene where I was a character who was in an abusive relationship with someone else, and I was having a very hard time. This is going to sound super actory, but I was having a really hard time connecting to the character. I wasn't really understanding how she thought, and my acting coach brought it to my attention that the reason why I was having a hard time connecting to this character is because I was looking down on her. I had a preconceived notion that she was weak, and that, you know, she, like, I did not connect to her as a strong person. And so my preconceived notions about someone who's in an abusive relationship was hindering me from being in that character all the way. And so what I had to do is I actually had to take myself out of the equation. I had to do a ton of research, and I had to go through and actually figure out how someone could end up in a situation like that. And through going through all of that experience, I actually have gained a lot more empathy for someone who's ever been in an abusive relationship. I no longer look down on them or view them as weak or view them as less than I am, because now I kind of, I mean, I've never been in one, but now I can kind of put myself in their shoes a bit more and empathize with what they're going through and relate to them on more of a human level as equals.
Yeah, that's awesome. Has that happened to you a lot in your acting career?
Oh, definitely, for sure. Because before I started going to my studio, if you met me like as a stranger, most people would describe me as kind of cold or standoffish, because I just didn't really relate well to anyone who wasn't going through exactly what I was going through. And because of acting, I've had a much better, I've done a lot better with interacting with someone who's not going through something that I can personally relate to, but still being able to empathize with them and also comfort them on like the level that they need, as opposed to just assuming that whatever it is not worth them being sad or upset about, or, you know, whatever you have.
Yeah. Do you feel like your work in acting has helped you develop skills that stretch broadly through every area of your life?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, gosh. First off, social skills. Not to say that I was bad socially before I started going to acting, but like I said before, I would come off as very cold and standoffish, and if I didn't deem you worthy of my time, I really wasn't that pleasant to talk to. And also, I was described as awkward at some points, too, which that still happens. But the point is, because of acting, not only have I played out different scenarios of interacting with people so I can kind of recall how it happened in my scene, but also I just have a lot more confidence in who I am as an individual. And so in terms of social skills, I'm much better at talking to people who I might not normally enjoy a conversation with, because I kind of recognize them as like a character I've already looked into, so I know better how to interact with them. And also just as far as like an awkwardness things go, I feel a lot more confident in who I am, and so I take a lot more control when I'm in a social situation, and it's not nearly as awkward. So that's one aspect that it has changed. Another aspect is my empathy with other people. I'm much better at like relating to others, getting on their level, and just on just a completely human level, and also caring about other people and making myself feel what someone else is going through, and making my interaction with someone actually make a difference. You know?
Yeah.
It's also helped me figure out who I am better, too.
So you're saying that understanding characters and connecting with them has made you understand yourself better?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, so the next part, gonna be going into questions that I ask everybody. First question is about love, and it's, does love exist?
Yes.
Yes. And if it does exist, what is it? What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me. My personal definition of love is when you put someone else before you. someone else's needs, someone else's wants, everything about them, you place it in higher priority to your own. And to me, that is love. Whether it's, a romantic love or a friendship love or familial love, it's just you care about that person and everything about them is more important to you than you yourself.
I gotcha. So are you saying that love is selfless?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Enough about love. What about money? Like, do you have any ideas or beliefs that come to your mind when you think about money?
I think that everyone wants just a little bit more money.
Everyone.
Everyone wants just a little bit more.
Are you saying that sorry. Are you saying that Donald Trump wants a little bit more? Or
Well, I'm sure he could think of something that he could get that he would need just a little bit more for. People, as a general rule, struggle with contentment, and a big area that shows up is in money.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How much, you just led into my next question, how much money do you want, personally?
I'm the same way. I want just a little bit more. Oh, I'm the exact same way. I'm just like everybody else. I work very hard to be content and to live within my means. As a general rule, I do that. But just like everyone else, every once in a while, I'll find myself saying, if I just had a little bit more, then I could visit this place. Or I could buy this thing,
Yeah. So it's never... So it's never enough, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I try to make it, but everyone has this fantasy of having so much money that they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some good things that you want to do with money?
If money was not an object for me, one of the things that I would do is spend it to have more life experience, travel places, and just all around form better relationships with anyone that I want to. For example, visit my friends more often, like those that are in college, a couple states away from me. That's one of the things that I would definitely do. Yeah. Yes, pumpkin. I would visit the pumpkin more.
Okay. So you visit people more, get more life experience. Anything else?
I would also use it to take care of the people that I care about who can't do it themselves.
Okay.
For example, if someone I know ends up in a hospital, whether it's by accident or there's some type of disease, I would like to have the resources to tell them that they don't have to worry about it and take care of them completely so that if and when they recover and get back to their normal life, they don't have to worry about the burden of all of the debt that they've acquired through just trying to live a life, Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. What about, I know you have this YouTube video where you sing about UFOs and things like that. Do you believe in aliens?
I don't have a really strong opinion about them, to be honest. As a general rule, I would say aliens probably don't exist, but I don't really have any hard proof that they don't. I don't have really any hard proof that they do.
Yeah.
So as a general rule, I'm just kind of neutral on the subject of aliens.
If they did exist, would they be so fly?
They would if they studied our culture first. For sure. Pick up on the lingo.
Okay. What about ghosts?
Ghosts. Ghosts as in, like, someone dies, but their spirit stays behind afterwards.
Yeah. But just out of curiosity, what other kinds of ghosts are you thinking of?
Well, there's also, ghosts in the sense that they're just like a demonic type of entity.
Okay.
You know, they never really were a person to begin with.
Okay.
Like in those horror films. Gosh, I hate horror films. Anyway, I don't really think ghosts exist. I think as far as spirits go, I think there's definitely some truth to that. For example, you've got the Holy Spirit, and I also think that there are forces working behind the scenes on either sides of the spectrum. But in terms of like a human soul staying behind after death, I don't think that happens.
Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. It's time. You have arrived. I'm going to get some music for this part. For the 4 or 5 big questions that I think everyone asks. The first one is, where did we come from as humans?
Well, I believe in the Bible, and so I believe that God created everything in the universe, including humans, and so we came from God, more specifically Adam and Eve, more specifically Noah, because everybody died and then Noah started over again.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I have to ask the question, because I always ask it. If we came from Noah, because, you know, the flood, and then Noah, descendant of Adam and Eve placed here by God, where did God come from?
God has no beginning and no end. He just has always existed.
Okay. All right. What is the purpose of life on Earth? Our life.
I think that the purpose of life is to honor God. Because in the original, I guess, formula for how life was created, we as humans and all of creation was created to be in fellowship with God. And the reason why things don't work the way that they originally happened is because we messed it up somewhere along the line. But that's still the basic point of our existence, is to be in communion with God and to glorify Him.
Okay. So, do you believe in, like, an afterlife?
Yes.
Okay. What is the purpose of the afterlife?
The purpose of the afterlife?
Yeah.
Well, I believe that once you die, your soul lives on eternally. And so your physical existence ends. But your existence itself doesn't really end. And so I think the purpose of the afterlife is for kind of just what I said, the fact that your existence doesn't really end. Like, even after you're gone off of the earth, you're still doing something.
Okay. Okay, so let me see if I understand correctly, because I might not. We have an afterlife because we can't stop existing, basically?
Yes.
So what's the purpose for, like, existing? Like, was there a purpose? Is there a purpose?
The purpose for existing is because we are God's creation, and God's creation is supposed to glorify Him. We, as a general rule, don't do a very good job of that, but that is our purpose.
Okay. So we exist to glorify God.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So what happens after we die? You said you believe in an afterlife?
Mm-hmm. I believe that there are basically 2 options. You either go to heaven or you go to hell. And it sounds very harsh, but that's what I believe. I think that Jesus came and He died on the cross for the sins of every person in the world. And if you believe that He died on the cross and you accept Him as your Savior and you accept Him and you ask Him to forgive you, then you go to heaven, because God doesn't see the imperfect human. God sees His perfect Son. But if you don't accept Jesus as your Savior and you ask Him to forgive you, then you go to hell.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of, let me see how I want to word this actually. Is there a good reason that you can think of that, and by good I mean like not like a solid reason, not like a convincing reason. I mean like a good reason, like in the qualitative sense, that someone would go to hell, like get sent to hell. I mean like, how can I word this?
As in someone gets sent to hell by doing a deed that would send them to hell?
That's not what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was afraid it would sound like. Okay, let me explain it this way. A lot of people say, why, if God loves us all, why does he send people to hell? Can you think of like a good response for that? Like just one good like reasoning for people getting sent to hell? Yeah.
Well, the main reason for that happening is because once sin entered the world, we as human beings became imperfect, and God as a whole is a perfect being, and he can't be in the presence of sin, of imperfection, and that is why anything that is imperfect can't be in his presence, and so it has to go to hell instead. And when I say that, I don't mean that the people who do go to heaven are perfect, because no one can ever be perfect because there is sin in the world. But the only person who ever lived who was perfect was Jesus. And that's why him dying on the cross for our sins actually worked. Because when we accept him as our Savior, we are forgiven of our sins. It's not anything that we did. It's not by our deeds at all. It's all because of God. It's all because of Jesus. And so the way that imperfect people go to heaven is that they accept Jesus, and God sees his son, his perfect son, instead of us, the imperfect human. So the reason why someone would go to hell is because they are imperfect, they are a sinner, as is everyone. But they just haven't accepted Jesus as their Savior, and so God doesn't see them as his son. He sees them as the imperfect human.
Okay. Do you think it's beneficial for them to go to hell, or is it like absolutely bad? If that makes sense.
I think it's horrible. I don't know a lot about hell. I've never been there, but based on what I have heard, it sounds awful. I don't think it's beneficial at all. I think it's just, and I don't understand all the ways that God works. I don't think I ever will, because a human mind can't really grasp it all. But because of sin in the world, there just has to be a hell because of all of the imperfection. I don't think anyone, I wouldn't wish hell upon anyone.
Okay. Awesome. All right. What do you feel like your personal purpose is, or mission?
It's going to sound kind of cliche, but honestly, I want to leave whoever I interact with better than how I found them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that working for you? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that unless you want to.
It's working pretty well. I have some bad days where I don't think I left the person better than how I found them. Not necessarily that I leave them worse. I just didn't necessarily make their day any better.
Yeah, I gotcha. How did you come up with that as your purpose?
Well, it actually kind of ties back to acting, actually. I used to have a very different outlook on life. I did not enjoy most people as a general rule. I was kind of a bitter person. I just didn't want to interact with most people. But it was those small little moments of people I didn't even really know who showed me kindness or compassion and made my day better. It was those moments that actually helped me get better. And realizing that just something really small like that impacted me, I realized that I should pay it forward, and I should try to be that person for anyone that I interact with.
Okay. That's cool. Okay. Do you... okay. I already know the answer to this question, and so does everyone else. Do you believe in good and evil?
Yes.
Yes. And how would you define evil?
I would define evil as anything that is not God's will.
Okay. Okay. Do you have something bigger than yourself that you serve?
Yes.
What's that? Sorry. It's awkward because we already have a grasp of at least one thing that's important to you that you serve.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else?
No. Just
No.
God.
Okay. Alright. What is something about you that you wish everyone knew?
Something about me that I wish everyone knew is that despite the way I may come off when I am talking to someone, I actually care a lot and very deeply, even if I don't always seem like I do.
Okay. That's a good answer. Anything else? Like maybe answer number 2? The first one's great, but do you have more things that, like, you wish people knew?
No, I mean, that's basically it. If anything, I wish people would notice when I'm trying to show that I care about them, as opposed, I wish they would see what I'm doing and interpret it the way that I see it, is like, this is an act of me showing you that I care about you, as opposed to me having to spell it out verbally, which I'm not as good at.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. What's one word that you would want people to remember you by?
Ah, that's a hard one.
You only get one.
I know. I like words. All the way.
Sentences.
Her mom's an English teacher.
Hmm?
Her mom's an English teacher. So she grew up knowing a lot of words.
Yeah, I'm all about the word. Okay, one word. For people to remember me by? Is that the question?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, I guess it sounds cheesy, but maybe loving.
Okay.
Or, I can only use one word. Okay, I would probably do loving or loyal or honest. One of those.
Okay. Why would you choose loving?
Well, because I would want people to remember me as being someone who was full of love and loved other people. May not be living my life exactly that way at this point in time, but that's what I would like people to remember about me.
Okay. Awesome. Excellent. What is something that you feel like you're good at?
Just one thing?
Or more.
Because I'm good at multiple things. I'm humble too.
That's good. Both of those things.
I feel like I'm good at acting.
Okay.
That's something that I've not always been good at, but I've worked really hard to be good at it. I also think that I'm good at horseback riding. I also think I'm good at volleyball. I also think I'm good at being a good friend. And I also think I am good at making videos / sketches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. What's something that someone can do for you that would be very helpful that maybe you wouldn't ask, but if you received it, it would be super helpful?
I think that something, like if I had the courage to ask someone to do this for me. Alright, a little bit of a backstory about Marilyn here. I, as an individual, whenever I encounter a very hard situation that might be very emotionally stressful, I tend to repress all of my emotions so I can work through the situation logically and not have to worry about those pesky feelings. And I think that one thing that would be helpful to me is if I am reaching that point where I am starting to repress everything and not process it or feel it, it would be helpful for someone to kind of force me to not go into a shell, to force me to feel everything at the moment, process what I'm going through, even if it's going to be more painful. It would be helpful for someone to force me to not go numb.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Okay. Now that you said that, what are you scared of?
Super silly things. I'm scared of spiders and rats, but not snakes. I see a rat and I jump. It's completely illogical, but I just can't stand them. A rat fell in my toilet a couple of weeks back and I almost screamed. Straight up screamed. It was terrifying.
Wait, how did that happen?
So those are some silly things.
Wait, how did that happen?
It was on my shower. On my shower rod. Fell into the toilet and kept swimming around.
Ah,
Yeah, I made Tony flush it. I couldn't flush it.
a rat?
It
Okay.
was straight up
That's
terrifying.
so scary.
Like that big.
I just want to hear the story. Okay.
That is nice.
Traumatizing. Okay, but as far as like more deep stuff that I'm scared of, I am scared of trusting the wrong person. And like going along with that, I'm scared of being taken advantage of in some way. And very existentially, I am scared of getting to the end of my life and realizing that I didn't do anything significant.
And what does that mean for you, doing something significant?
Something significant in the fact that I impacted lives.
Okay. How many? How many is necessary?
That I haven't quite figured out. Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any advice for the world, for the people watching?
For the world, just as a whole.
Yeah, just anything that you feel like would be helpful.
If I could give advice to every human being in the world, it would probably be to live in the moment and pick your battles and learn contentment and treat others the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything besides advice that you haven't expressed already that you'd like to?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What has your process been, or what is your process for figuring out what you want in life?
Honestly, I'm a very visual person, and a big part of my process is actually just imagining or visualizing a future scenario or a future situation, and based on my reaction to that, or if I can even visualize it at all, that kind of tells me if it's something I want or something I should pursue. So, for example, deciding what I want to do with my life, I try to visualize myself in various job or workplace situations and see which one I can even visualize to begin with, And also, which visualization actually makes me happy, and which ones make me want to cringe.
That's effective.
Mm.
Okay. What rituals do you take part in regularly?
Alright,
Does that
well,
make
I
sense?
go to church once a week,
Okay.
and we take communion.
Okay.
So that is a ritual, I would say. Other than that, super basic stuff like my morning routine. I do the same thing every morning. I wake up, put my contacts in, brush my teeth, wash my face. I don't know if that's less of a ritual and more of a routine, but it's about all I can think of as far as rituals.
Okay. What do you think of when you wake up in the morning? Like,
Usually the dream that I had that night.
okay.
I have very vivid, very strange dreams, and I can usually remember most of them. And so I usually think about my dream, and I try to psychoanalyze it and figure out what everything means.
Okay. What is something that someone has done for you that you remember that has impacted you?
When I was in elementary school, I was in 4th grade, so I was about 10 years old. My mom and I had to take care of both of my grandparents at our house. One of them was paralyzed from the waist down. One of them had a degenerative disease, kind of like Alzheimer's. And so there would be some nights where I would have to stay up quite late to help my mother take care of them. And there was one night where I ended up staying up almost the entire night because various things went wrong. And the next day, I had to take a test in school. But as you can imagine, my 10-year-old self did not do very well with that sleep deprivation, and I kind of bombed the test. But my teacher, knowing my home situation and also knowing me and the fact that I usually got good grades, she let me take the test over. So that was pretty impactful to me.
Yeah. Why is that something that you still remember?
Because it was such a small thing, but at the same time it was a huge act of kindness, but also a great showing of her faith and trust in me that I could do better, and the fact that she gave me another chance and didn't just let the bad situation at that time affect what was happening to me at school.
Yeah. How do you think that has affected you? That she really believed in you, even though like the test wasn't good, but she believed in who you were.
It on kind of more of a surfacey level, it showed me how it really does help to be consistent in school, because if you are consistent and then one day you have a fluke, usually a teacher will try to help you because they know that you can do better. But also on another level, it showed me how big of a difference just understanding someone's situation can do, and if you're able to help them with that, how big of a difference it can make just to do your small part.
Okay. That makes sense.
Pause.
What?
Bye, Marilyn.
Bye, Pumpkin.
What's something that you are curious about?
So, something that I'm curious about is the afterlife.
Okay.
More specifically, heaven, how everything works in there. I have a lot of questions about it.
Okay. What's one or two?
One of my questions is, when you go to heaven, what are you going to look like? Are you going to have a super physical body, or is it just going to be kind of a projection of a body? Is it going to be a body that's similar to how we look like on Earth? Or is it going to be something completely different? Like, are we going to recognize the people that we knew on Earth? If I see, say, my grandma, am I going to recognize her as my grandma, or am I just going to see her as another person? Like, will our relationships formed on Earth carry over into heaven? Also, what is everything going to look like? Are we even going to care what it's going to look like? Also, babies, do they go to heaven? Because they don't really get a chance. That's some of them.
That's awesome. Okay. Okay, what specific questions? I mean, you just said a lot of specific questions about the afterlife. Do you have any specific questions about anything that you'd like answered?
Well, a lot of them are about the afterlife. I would like to know if there is a way to access every single memory that you have in your brain. Like, have you ever seen Limitless?
I haven't seen it, but I know the premise.
Like, I wonder if that's actually possible. I don't know if that would be cool or not, because you'd remember being born. I don't know if that's something I'd want to remember.
Yeah. Yeah, what if there was a way?
It would be interesting.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other specific questions?
How do dogs see? What do they actually see? Also, as far as like the light spectrum goes, I know we can only see a small bit of it, and so I wonder other animals or other, I guess, entities in general that can see more of the spectrum, what does it look like? Because it just looks like nothing to us.
Yeah. That's a good question. Okay. Let me ask you this. With all the challenges and all the frustrations, all the early mornings, the late nights, and hard things, and heartbreaks, etc., is life worth it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why is life worth it?
Because this goes back to my belief in general in God. Life is worth it because it says in the Bible that God knows the days of your life while He's knitting you in your mother's womb. And the way I think of it is, God is someone who created literally everything in the universe, but He took the time to carefully and intricately create you as a person. And the fact that He took the time to make sure that you exist means that your life is worth it. He obviously has a purpose.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What questions do you have for the people watching? Kind of already answered that. But is there something that you... Let's skip it. Unless something just came to your mind, I feel like you adequately answered that one.
I mean, I have a question just for anyone new, just to see how they think about life.
Okay. What's that?
So, my question is, to anyone who wants to answer, if you had the power to change one law, what would it be?
Oh. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Are we talking like laws of the land, like government laws, or like laws of...
I think that's up to interpretation.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you think that I should ask that to everyone I interview?
Why not? See how they interpret it.
Okay. Or do you have another question that I should ask everyone I interview?
Well, I do have one other question.
Okay.
And it sounds incredibly morbid whenever I ask it, so...
Perfect. Okay.
My question that I actually really enjoy asking other people because it makes them incredibly uncomfortable is, what would I have to do to make you want to physically hurt me?
I like that. What would I have to do to make you want to physically hurt me? Question mark, Marilyn.
Oh, that's my question?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the answer to it.
Okay.
What you would have to do to make me want to hurt you is you would have to seriously wrong someone that I care about. Because in all honesty, if you wronged me personally, I probably wouldn't hurt you. But if you wronged someone that I care about and someone that I feel especially protective over, I would definitely want to hurt you. Not just physically, mentally. I would try to destroy you as a human being.
Okay. I'm not gonna do that. What questions are you constantly asking yourself? Question or questions?
I feel like some of the questions I constantly ask myself are ones that everyone asks, I think especially around our age, is, you know, am I doing the right thing right now? Am I on the right path? Have I made the right choice with what to do with my life? Should I have done something differently? Should I be doing something differently? You know, am I wasting my time? Various variations of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Who do you know that I should interview next?
I have a friend whose name is Mark, and I think he would be a good person to interview.
Okay. Why would he be a good person?
Because he's incredibly analytical. He likes talking a lot, and I'm not trying to sound mean. He really does. But he also has very strong opinions and really likes being logical. So he would probably enjoy voicing his opinions and backing everything up with, you know, reason 1, reason 2, supporting evidence, that type of deal.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Now, you were suggested by Hannah. Why do you think she suggested you?
I think that Hannah suggested me because she knows that I also have fairly strong opinions. I think she also suggested me because she knows I'm kind of used to being in front of a camera and having an interview type of situation, so I probably wouldn't be that awkward. And I think that she also suggested me because, as a general rule, I'm pretty good at communicating how I think in a very concise way.
Okay. Awesome.
Do you know why she suggested me?
I don't know. Okay. What are 3 things that you are grateful for?
I'm grateful for my family, more specifically my mom. I'm grateful for my body and the fact that it works, because I have lived with bodies that don't. Sounds very strange to say, but it's true. And I'm grateful for where I live, that I have the freedoms that I have, and I don't have to worry about oppression in really any type of way.
Those are good things. Okay.
I agree.
Alright, we have come to the end.
Woohoo!
You made it. It was a great interview. Thank you for taking the time and being really open and honest.
Of course. Thanks for thinking of me.
What?
I said thanks for thinking of me.
Oh, you're welcome. And Hannah had to leave, but anyway. Thank you, Marilyn. And everyone, answer some questions in the comments. Let us know what you think. Check out Marilyn's YouTube. There's a hit song about UFOs.
So weird.
And also, when would now be a good time to live your dreams?